the headlines of VTV News. Party chief meets with teachers and education managers for Vietnamese Teachers' Day. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attends Vietnam-Brazil Business Forum. And later on in our world news, NATO conducts large-scale military exercises in Finland.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to VTV News, broadcast live to you from Hanoi. You're with me, Lina Pham, and here's the top news of the hour. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm on Monday morning met with teachers and education managers ahead of Vietnam Teachers' Day, observed on November the 20th. The event was co-organized by the Ministry of Education and Training and Vietnam National University, Hanoi.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm extended his warmest regards and best wishes to educators, education administrators, scientists, and generations of teachers. While commending their achievements, the Party General Secretary emphasized several critical and urgent tasks. This include completing the education reform agenda and creating a skilled workforce for national development and defense during the nation's rising era, under the 14th Party Congress's tenure. The highest priority is building socialist-oriented individuals. The party chief underscored the importance of aligning the education sector with the nation's development goals and outlined immediate actions to address pressing challenges.
There must be a solution to completely eradicate illiteracy, particularly in remote areas and among ethnic communities. A digital literacy for all campaign must be launched to address the lack of knowledge on digital transformation among citizens, even state officials. The Politburo has decided to issue a resolution on national digital transformation. Its success lies in promptly disseminating basic knowledge of digital transformation to the entire population. The shortage of schools and classrooms in major cities, industrial zones, densely populated areas, and mountainous regions must be quickly addressed. Schools, classrooms, and teachers' residential areas, especially in remote and ethnic regions, must be upgraded. At least 20% of total public expenditure must be allocated to education, as mandated by party resolutions.
Additionally, he called for building a team of educators and education administrators of high moral and professional caliber with knowledge and passion to inspire and innovate. These educators should be role models for students to emulate, and there should be a sufficient number of teachers distributed evenly across disciplines. On this occasion, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm presented the third-class labor order to the National Economics University, Vietnam National University, Hanoi, and congratulated distinguished educators.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm held a working session with the party's Central Committee's Commission for Mass Mobilization to review the implementation of mass mobilization efforts since the start of the 13th Party Congress term and outline key tasks leading up to the 14th Party Congress. More to follow.
Mass mobilization work has been implemented comprehensively and systematically since the beginning of the term. Key initiatives include thorough study and dissemination of the 13th Party Congress resolution, strategic advice on mass mobilization, enhancement of grassroots democracy, and improved coordination among party organizations. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm acknowledged the Commission's achievements while outlining necessary innovations to meet emerging challenges. He stressed the importance of leveraging the people's unique strengths, working in their interests, and addressing their legitimate needs and aspirations. The Party General Secretary emphasized that mass mobilization is a shared responsibility of the party, military, and the entire political system.
To carry out effective mass mobilization, officers must understand the needs and rights of the people. Neglecting their legitimate rights and interests creates a disconnect with the people, making communication and mobilization efforts ineffective and posing significant risks.
The Party General Secretary called for strong innovation in mass mobilization methods, including tailoring efforts to regional realities. He also highlighted the need to expand mass mobilization efforts into cyberspace, utilizing e-government platforms and digital citizenship tools. He also proposed significant reforms to the organizational structure of mass mobilization work.
Restructuring efforts must include selecting capable and virtuous personnel for mass mobilization roles, individuals who embody President Ho Chi Minh's vision of thoughtful, observant, and action-oriented leaders. They must be persuasive while acting accordingly to earn the people's trust.
The party general secretary emphasized that mobilizing the people's strength and fostering unity are crucial to building a prosperous, strong, democratic, fair, and civilized society. In the immediate future, this involves successfully organizing party congresses at all levels and preparing for the 14th National Congress of the Communist Party of Vietnam. The party chief also expressed confidence that the sector would continue to excel in fulfilling its assigned tasks.
Vietnamese Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính held talks with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in Rio de Janeiro on November the 17th. During their meeting, the two leaders agreed to elevate bilateral relations to a strategic partnership and issue a joint statement on this upgrade. Reflecting on the 35-year bilateral relationship, he affirmed that it has been built and developed on 5 fundamental pillars: shared ideals and trust, cultural affinity, complementary economies, sincere and warm sentiments, and aspirations for peace and development. President Lula da Silva acknowledged the Prime Minister's proposals regarding Brazil's recognition of Vietnam's market economy status. He also supported the early initiation of negotiations for a free trade agreement between Vietnam and the Southern Common Market in 2025, aiming to bring practical benefits to both sides and contribute to each country's development. The leaders instructed their respective foreign ministries to swiftly develop and finalize the detailed contents of the Vietnam-Brazil Strategic Partnership Framework. During his working trip to Brazil, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính and his spouse attended the inauguration ceremony of a plaque commemorating late President Ho Chi Minh in Rio de Janeiro and participated in the Vietnam Day in Brazil.
Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh attended a ceremony on November 17th, local time, to inaugurate a plaque commemorating late President Ho Chi Minh in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The Vietnamese revolutionary leader had stayed in the city in 1912 during his journey to find ways to liberate his homeland. The plaque, inscribed in both Vietnamese and Portuguese, states that President Ho Chi Minh declared Vietnam's independence on September 2, 1945, establishing the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. It also mentions UNESCO's resolution honoring him as a national liberation hero and a great cultural figure of Vietnam who contributed to global struggles for freedom. Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh emphasized the plaque's significance as a historical landmark. He noted that young generations from both countries can learn about history and preserve late President Ho Chi Minh's noble values.
Later on the same day, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, his spouse, and the Vietnamese delegation took part in the Vietnam Day in Brazil program in Rio de Janeiro. Speaking at the event, the Prime Minister highlighted the program's importance in celebrating 35 years of Vietnam-Brazil relations and the 112th anniversary of President Ho Chi Minh's visit to Rio de Janeiro during his quest for national liberation. He thanked the Brazilian government and Rio de Janeiro for their support in organizing the event, which he noted reflected the growing trust and cooperation between the two nations.
Also on Monday, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the Vietnam-Brazil Business Forum and met with leaders of Brazil's top corporations in various fields, including aviation, aerospace, food, trade, and smart and payment solutions.
Brazil is currently Vietnam's top trade partner in the Latin American region. In the first 10 months, the two countries' bilateral trade turnover reached $6.58 billion, a 14% increase year-on-year. Brazilian businesses are eager to enhance cooperation with Vietnam in fields like aviation, semiconductors, agriculture, fisheries, technology, and innovation. Speaking at the forum, the Prime Minister emphasized the strong political and diplomatic ties between the two nations. He urged businesses from both countries to capitalize on these opportunities and advantages to strengthen cooperation, investment, and trade. Vietnam is focused on attracting selective investment in high-tech, value-added, and innovative projects. Priority sectors include innovation, R&D, green and circular economies, digital economies, semiconductor production, and renewable energy. The Prime Minister also advocated for launching negotiations to sign a free trade agreement between Vietnam and the Southern Common Market. He called on Brazil to recognize Vietnam's market economy status and asked businesses to support these initiatives.
There are several key sectors where we aim for breakthroughs, which are institution building, strategic infrastructure development, and high-quality workforce training. We hope businesses from both countries can connect, integrate, make investments, and trade for mutual benefits under the spirit of harmonized benefits and shared risks.
Prior to the forum, the Prime Minister received leaders of 4 Brazilian corporations in Rio de Janeiro. The firms are aerospace company Embraer, meat producer JBS, Oceanside One Trading, and smart card solution supplier Alterosa. At the meetings, he highlighted the strong and growing Vietnam-Brazil relationship, underscored by mutual political trust and complementary economic strengths. Bilateral trade reached over $7.1 billion in 2023 and $6.58 billion in the first 10 months of 2024. The Vietnamese leader highlighted Vietnam and Brazil's similarities, shared aspirations for peace and development, as well as great potential for cooperation.
Coming up next, Vietnam successfully manages consumer price index. An additional $192 million allocated for production recovery in disaster-affected areas. Welcome back to VTV News. The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, in October rose by 0.33% compared to the previous month. This increase was mainly driven by a surge in food prices following natural disasters. However, the sudden rise was short-lived and price levels have since stabilized. Inflation is expected to remain well controlled through the end of the year.
This rice vendor at a wholesale market witnessed a brief spike in rice prices during October. This temporary increase was triggered by natural disasters in northern provinces.
I assured customers not to worry because the crop loss in northern provinces was minor, and supplies from southern provinces quickly compensated.
This woman has been running a budget rice stall for years. She visits the market frequently.
After natural disasters, prices went up slightly, but they've since returned to normal.
To ensure stable prices for both sellers and buyers, production and livestock facilities like this one must operate efficiently while cutting costs. At a pig farm of nearly 5,000 pigs, the monthly electricity bill costs $2,500.
By adjusting the hours of electricity usage to off-peak times, we've managed to save a significant amount of money.
The recent electricity price hike only adds about 0.04 percentage points to the CPI.
On average, Vietnam's CPI in the first 10 months increased by only 3.78% compared to the same period last year. Nevertheless, fuel prices continue to face pressure from global fluctuations. Alongside governmental regulatory measures, businesses and retailers have also optimized transportation costs.
We combine shipments to save costs and minimize unnecessary trips.
International organizations forecast Vietnam's inflation this year to stay below 4.5%. However, close monitoring remains essential to prevent inflationary pressure in the coming year.
By the end of next year, the Mekong Delta is expected to have nearly 600 kilometers of expressways. This region has received significant attention from the government for infrastructure development. The completion of these expressway projects will create new opportunities for localities to attract investments and boost socio-economic development.
The Mỹ Thuận Cần Thơ Expressway was put into operation in late 2023. The project reduces travel time from the center of the Mekong Delta to Ho Chi Minh City by over an hour.
Once the expressways are completed, transportation time will be reduced, so we are excited to invest in Long An.
Currently, the Mekong Delta has 120 kilometers of expressways in operation and 428 kilometers under construction, set to be completed by 2025. Projects to enhance connectivity are being accelerated.
The province has both proactively and through government petitions pushed for transport routes connecting to the Cho Doc, Canther, Soc Trunk Expressway. This holds great significance in linking the Mekong Delta with Cambodia.
There is high regional connectivity potential, such as the Ring Road 3, 4, and routes linking Mekong Delta localities. A clear guideline for cooperation has also been established to attract more investors.
4 years ago, many provinces in the Mekong Delta attracted little to no foreign direct investment. Today, numerous FDI projects are either implemented or underway. Notably, the region has achieved a record trade surplus exceeding $12 billion.
In the first 10 months of 2024, Vietnam's total export and import turnover exceeded $647 billion, marking a 15.8% increase compared to the same period last year. If this growth continues, the country's trade could set a new record, potentially reaching $800 billion by year-end.
New plastic injection molding machines have recently been installed at this factory in Hai Phong, Vietnam. With export orders up 20% compared to the same period last year, the company sees this as a clear signal to ramp up investment.
The markets in Europe and the US have made strong recoveries, boosting imports, while the domestic market consumes about 80% of our production and is growing positively. The demand for raw materials is also rising sharply, which has led to a significant increase in our orders.
Although the foreign direct investment (FDI) sector accounts for over 70% of total export-import turnover, local enterprises have earned the trust of international markets in producing key industrial products such as textiles, footwear, and furniture.
U.S. distributors and consumers have consistently rated Vietnamese products highly for their quality, variety, and competitive prices. This trend remains strong, even amidst trade tensions, political instability, and rising inflation.
Domestic production is recovering positively, and global demand is picking up strongly. Given this trend, Vietnam's total trade turnover this year could reach $800 billion.
However, global demand has not yet fully recovered, and with rising production input costs and difficulty in raising prices, manufacturers and exporters still face major challenges.
The Prime Minister has recently decided to increase the 2024 credit plan of the Vietnam Bank for Social Policies by an additional 2%, equivalent to over $192 million. This move aims to focus financial resources on providing loans to poor households and other policy beneficiaries. It also seeks to support residents in rebuilding their livelihoods and stabilizing their lives after recent natural disasters. On November the 18th, the defense ministries of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia launched a joint search and rescue exercise themed rescue and relief activities at collapsed structures at the Royal Gendarmerie of Cambodia Training Center. The joint drill aims to strengthen cooperation between the nation's armies, support each other during natural disasters, provide prompt assistance for people affected by natural disasters, and minimize the loss of life and property. Some 700 soldiers joined this year's exercise. The archaeological sites of Som Chai Cave and Mái Đá Làng Vành in Lạc Sơn district have just been recognized as special national relics. Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thanh Long attended the ceremony and directed Hòa Bình province to continue protecting and promoting Hòa Bình cultural values. This effort aims to boost tourism and socio-economic development, as well as prepare a dossier for UNESCO to recognize Hòa Bình culture as a world of cultural heritage. Som Chai Cave, discovered in 1975, is a prime example of Hòa Bình culture in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. Dating back 21,000 years, it boasts the richest collection of stone tools among Hòa Bình cultural relics. The Mái Đá Làng Vành site, a typical Stone Age archaeological relic of the Hòa Bình culture, was discovered and excavated by French archaeologist Madeleine Coligny in 1929. Coming up next in our world news, NATO conducts large-scale military exercises in Finland. And construction on world's first green energy island underway in Belgium. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, is conducting large-scale artillery exercises in Finland for the first time since the Nordic nation joined the alliance last year. The drills, taking place from November the 4th to the 28th, involve 3,600 troops from Finland, the United States, Sweden, the United Kingdom, France, and several other NATO member states. This marks the first time NATO allies have conducted artillery exercises in Finland. Drills are being held at the Lapland firing range and training area, the largest military training zone in Europe. The exercises are part of Dynamic Front 25, NATO's largest artillery exercise in Europe, which spans Finland, Estonia, Germany, Romania, and Poland. Following reports that U.S. President Joe Biden has lifted restrictions on Ukraine's use of American long-range missiles to strike Russian territory, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Sharakova emphasized that Russian President Vladimir Putin had already made Moscow's stance clear on this matter. In September, Putin stated that if Western countries allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles they provide to strike deeper into Russian territory, it would constitute direct involvement by the U.S. and NATO in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In response, Russia would be compelled to take what President Putin referred to as proportionate measures to address these new threats. The Kremlin has yet to issue an official comment on the matter. A government statement released in Berlin on Sunday revealed that the easing of immigration restrictions to attract skilled workers to Germany has led to a 10% increase in the number of visas issued for this purpose over the past year. The new measures include a points-based system inspired by Canada's approach, which will see 200,000 professional visas granted next year. The country's foreign minister added that while the new measures address pressing labor shortages, further reforms are necessary to fill an annual gap of 400,000 workers, especially in sectors like healthcare, services, and technology. Germany's aging population underscores the urgency for skilled migration. Without foreign workers, employment figures in 2023 would have declined, highlighting the critical role of immigrants in sustaining Europe's largest economy. Belgium has begun constructing an artificial island 45 kilometers off its northern coast. This environmentally friendly project marks a significant step towards reducing the country's reliance on fossil fuels, advancing Europe's green energy transition, and achieving renewable energy targets.
At a shipyard in the North Sea, workers are producing dozens of enormous hollow concrete blocks, each as large as a residential building. These blocks will be deployed to the seabed to form the foundation for the world's first wind-powered artificial energy island. The island is named after Princess Elizabeth, and it will house transformers and underwater cables to transmit electricity to the mainland.
This combines an artificial island with electrical infrastructure to create an energy hub. It is the first of its kind in the world.
Once operational, Princess Elizabeth Island will generate 3.5 gigawatts of offshore wind power, which is enough to supply electricity to 3 million households. Apart from renewable energy production, the island is designed to function as an energy trading hub for Europe. The management plan includes specialized, hybrid interconnection, cables linking the island to neighboring countries. This system allows two-way energy transmission.
The island will also be used to connect to the UK, to Denmark, to Norway, to bring huge amounts of renewable energy to Belgium. And in total, the project will provide for 30% of the electricity that we need by 2030 and 2035.
The project has garnered support from environmental groups for its green goals and eco-friendly design. The island will feature nesting areas for seabirds and artificial coral reefs to enhance marine life. The island is anticipated to play a key role in helping Belgium achieve carbon neutrality by 2050.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for watching. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4go. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.